Every day, you wake up as your own boss, making your own way. Every day, you continue your journey to change the world, your team, and yourself. Every day, you encourage, congratulate, celebrate, and reach toward your goal of being the best and providing the best. The Build Your Best Business Show is for you. The real stories of building a business from other owners and founders along the journey. Find the support and advice you need to successfully start, grow, manage, and exit your business. What are you going to do today to build your best business?
Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Build Your Best Business focuses on the entrepreneurial journey. What does it take to successfully start, manage, grow, and eventually exit a business? Talking today with James Oliver. No relation to Jamie Oliver, though he does know who he is. He is the founder and CEO of WeMontage, along with a couple of other things that we'll talk about as we go through. So WeMontage, tell me what is this product that you have created?
It's a pleasure to be with you, first of all.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. So WeMontage.com is the world's only website that will let you take your digital images, upload them, create a large custom collage, and we print it and ship it to you on removable wallpaper.
Yeah, okay. And we have an example here.
Oh, yeah, I just kind of brought that to show you.
Yeah, so that's...
Right, so you can see, actually peel the other end there. It's ready to peel there. So you can see how that goes on and off the wall there.
It's very cool.
Smooths right back on. Pretty good quality there too as well.
So where did you come up with the idea? Though I'll tell you that I'll share a personal story about this specific category. You moved into a new house recently.
Oh,
so
really?
we had a whole conversation about a wall I wanted to do something on. But anyway, so tell me, how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, so my wife was actually watching an interior design show on HGTV, and she called me upstairs because they were in the family's basement covering the walls with these big, beautiful collages, pictures. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, I want one. And I had these wonderful photos from our wedding in the Dominican Republic. I wanted one. And it was like the proverbial aha moment, like clouds parting, angels singing.
That's how all entrepreneurial businesses start.
Right. I mean, I was up the entire night.
That or a napkin and a glass of wine.
Right. I was up all night. This is before the keyboard lights, the keyboard lighted up. So I'm in the bed Googling all night trying to figure out how they did that, trying not to wake my wife up.
Right.
And much to my chagrin, there was no way to do it. They were using this fancy shop in Manhattan.
Okay.
High-end place. And I'm like, I want this. So I just went about, I cleared out my savings to build what was at the time, still is a fairly complicated website. And, I don't know how to write a line of code. Like, who does that?
Right.
Right. And, so and then now charge headfirst down the path of creating WeMontage.
Okay. And so, but the idea around like getting people to come in, put their products, because it's a really good idea. Like we went out to San Diego over Christmas break, and my daughter's an artist. And so we took a bunch of pictures at East Jesus, which is over kind of like the Slab City. So there's this place called East Jesus, and it's these artists who live in this place. They're sort of squatters, and they've created these art installations. They've taken old cars and turned them into things. And then you go to Joshua Tree, and there's a bunch of stuff out there, and a couple of other artists who kind of created things. So we have this montage of things, these pictures.
Yeah.
And you don't want to really frame them, right?
No.
Like, because then they're just going to end up, it's a collection of frames and if you try to hang them, so it's a really, because you can control how this kind of gets put together.
Yeah, and naturally you don't have to put nails in the walls. And if you want to do custom picture frames, good Lord, those things are incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
And so from a value standpoint, this is significantly less expensive than that approach. And then you don't have to have the hassle of putting nails in the wall either.
Yeah. So taking it from you developing it and then getting it to market, because there's a big difference between creating something and then getting people to find out about it.
Right. So, I mean, I was really lucky. At the time, I was living in Northeast Wisconsin. We were just chatting about that.
Yeah.
I was living in Appleton, which is like 30 miles south of Green Bay. Lots of beer, cheese. It's like all packets all the time up there. It's so annoying. Sorry. So I was able to get into a tech startup accelerator.
Okay.
Called Generator. And I went through the Madison cohort in January 2013. And like 2 days before I was to start that, my twins were born prematurely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 3 months early.
Oh, wow.
So they were supposed to arrive right at the end of the
I thought you had timed it well.
Well, I mean, timing is not my forte in life in general.
Right.
Excuse me. But, the accelerator is great because if you can get into a good one, now you have the credibility to approach investors who otherwise just simply, it'll be unapproachable. They wouldn't give you the time of day.
Right.
So, I was looking to raise $250,000. And I was really fortunate that it was demo day. And, before that, so my kids were born. They were in the NICU. The accelerator was 2 hours away by car. So I was back and forth, like in the NICU, doing the accelerator thing.
Oh, wow.
A lot of pressure. My son, he like fit in my hand when he was born. They were
wow.
like super tiny. They were in the NICU for my son for 10 weeks, my daughter for 6 weeks. But, those are really difficult times because you're dealing with that and plus the pressure of being in the accelerator and building out the product, your minimal viable product, MVP, in time for demo day.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it was really challenging, but we got to demo day and there was an investor angel group that we went and pitched, and he called me like right before I went on stage and he said, "Hey, we want to fill out your whole round, $250,000."
Wow, even before you pitched.
Yeah, man, talk about a stress-free pitch.
You got to be like, I got this.
I'm like, yeah, it's all good.
Right. Right.
So, I was so thankful. I remember I just like dropped to my knees and I just like, thank you, God, because like I said, I cleared all my savings. The prototype version of the website, took forever to build. I got a good friend of mine who's on my advisory board. He actually wrote the original iPhone and iPad app for Pandora.
Oh, wow.
Right? He's like old school like that.
Right.
And he told me, like, after I already charged head first down this path, he said, and most of your listeners probably already know this if they're in software. When you're building software, you can build it fast, cheap, or really well, right? And, because I had champagne taste on a PBR tall boy budget, I wanted it really well and inexpensive, which means it wasn't going to be fast. So they said they promised to get it done in 3 months. It took a year.
Yeah.
So,
it's fast, cheap, and easy. You supposedly can't select
two
one
or
of
three.
those. Yeah,
two or
that's
three.
Right.
You only get to pick two. I'm like, oh, now you tell me. So, those are difficult times. But luckily, at the end of that year, I got into the accelerator. So I was like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you.
Yeah, and did that MVP helped you get in?
So that prototype? Yeah, so when I was pitching those guys to get in, I was able to pull it up and show them. And I think they liked the fact that I had skin in the game. Like I said, I cleared out my savings. I spent a lot of money to get that thing built.
Right. And what were you doing before?
So in my past life, I worked as, most prior to that, I was doing working for the Absolute Spirits Company.
Okay.
I was doing business development, regional sales and marketing type work. And crazy thing about that is I started that job, I didn't even drink. Like, who does that?
Right.
And what's crazy is by the end of it, I was a cocktail snob.
That's like, well, I owned that research company for a period of time, and we would do these research projects, and it would be about a topic I didn't care about.
Right.
So I'll give you an example: journals. I am not a journal. I don't use journals, like handwriting in a journal.
Right.
Like, just not my thing.
Right.
Like, I tried, didn't happen.
Right.
And we had to do a whole project on journals.
Right.
And I interviewed 70 or 80 people on journals, and we had to take them through 2 sets. By the end, I went to a store and bought 12 journals, right? Because I'm like, I have to buy a journal. Now, I think I wrote in one for a week and then it was done. But then I had some presents I could give other people. But,
Right. So I did that job. I really enjoyed it. And then Pernod Ricard came along and bought the company and laid a bunch of us off.
Okay.
So then we moved. I was living in Chicago at the time. And then we moved up to Wisconsin when my wife finished business school.
Okay.
And, at that time I was like, really ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I mean, even I went to Morehouse back then. I had a little production company, so we were doing entrepreneurial things, but I never really just like made the full commitment to be what I was, which was an entrepreneur. And I just decided when we got there, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I was told from people in the community that there was a need for somebody that could do business plans. I was like, I'm just going to hang out a shingle. Right. I went to business school. I got my MBA from UNC Chapel Hill. I mean, I knew how to write business plans. I had a really great financial model. I'm like, I can do this, but I knew that wasn't a long-term solution. It's not scalable, right? But if you take the first step, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, right? So do something. The world needs more doers, right? And less people talking about doing stuff.
Well, I even I'll have college students talk to me about, I'm thinking about doing the following thing, and that I'm like, start trying to do it. Because even if you don't, do
something.
Because it's easier to have a conversation.
Oh my God, it makes my head explode when people are just like talking about what they're gonna do. What have you done? Build something, right? Get some feedback.
And that's how you learn.
Right. Get some feedback from some potentially paying customers. Take that feedback, you improve it, show it to them again.
Yeah. So you're not in Wisconsin any longer.
No, I'm here. Thank
God.
How did that happen? Hallelujah.
How did that happen?
So my wife got a job with her same company in a different division here in Atlanta, and I'm so excited to be back in Atlanta. I left here in 2000. I lived here for 12 years. I consider Atlanta home, even though I grew up in New York. But I got wonderful relationships here. I just love it here. And I'm super excited to be back.
So that brought you back here, and you've been able to tap into the ecosystem to move the product forward?
Yeah. So, it's only been a few months. Yeah. So I'm kind of just getting started, which I was thrilled to get connected to you. And I think I mentioned I was on can I talk about the show?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
We're non-competitive.
Okay, all right. Space. So, I was just on Atlanta Tech Edge with Kara Kinnear this past Sunday. Yeah. And that was a really wonderful segment. Kara's awesome. I just love what those guys are doing because, as I said, and what you're doing as well. Where I was living, there's no real startup ecosystem, small town opportunities to do these sorts of things, have these compelling conversations with people. They're few and far in between. So I'm just really thankful to be here and be able to talk to you guys. So.
Yeah, Atlanta was not this way back in the 90s when I was a technology guy.
Is that right? What was it like?
Oh my goodness. ATDC, which now has 200 or 300 companies, being incubated, had 12.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay.
That was
this like the late 90s, right before the .com boom?
Mid-90s. Okay. I was building .coms here in Atlanta in the 90s, which makes no sense.
You're old school. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
He's an old school technology gangster.
That's right.
OTG.
See, now they'll use this clip on and on. That'll happen on and on.
Old school technology gangster. So
where are you with WeMontage?
So, the product is, as you can see, it's good. So that's a smaller size. We make a 3x2. You can cover an entire wall. We've got about $300,000 in sales since the launch of the business, which is not like we're not crushing it, but that's not nothing.
Right, absolutely.
I got a couple thousand super happy customers, 20% of whom repeat.
Yeah.
Which is a lot more than I thought when I first started this thing. I thought it was just going to be one and done.
Do you see it primarily in the residential or commercial?
Yeah,
I could see a commercial application for this.
I see why you've been successful because that's a really insightful comment. And I'm not just blowing smoke by saying that. But so my primary customer is, let me circle back just a little bit. From when I first started this thing, my original business model was to work with photographers and interior designers.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to do that is because I'm like, it's just me. I'm just a snot-nosed little startup without a ton of capital, right? And marketing is expensive. Customer acquisition is hard, as you know. And I'm like, if I could partner with people who are going to multiply my efforts, all the better. I have a chance.
Or give them a unique product to offer their customers.
Exactly. I have an opportunity to be successful. But as one of the guys from Accelerator like to say, everybody was excited about it, but when I launched it, the dog wouldn't eat the food.
Right.
But what I noticed was that like moms and grandmoms were buying it.
Yeah.
Because they had all these pictures and all these wonderful family memories. Yeah. So that's because originally I was doing my smaller size was 6x4 because I was thinking commercial professionals. I wanted to be big, 6x4, really differentiating, and you could go bigger from there. But once the moms and grandmas started buying, I made a smaller size of 3x2, which is $59.99, an entry-level product, more affordable, more approachable. But then I started noticing something interesting in like the last year or two, is that businesses use the product as well.
So we're going to put a pin in it and come back and talk about how they're using it, because it'd be interesting to me about where their applications are. So we're talking with James Oliver. He's the founder and CEO of WeMontage, and he has a little book we're going to talk about too when we come back that he wrote here recently. So you're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We'll be back in just a minute. Congratulations, you're your own boss. Now comes the hard part.
It's not just about starting a business, it's about successfully managing and growing that business to an eventual exit. And along that entrepreneurial journey, you're going to run into questions and problems that you need quick answers to. Things like, do you need a business plan? How do you read a balance sheet? How do you talk to an investor? When do you bring on a founder? Or what if you're having problems with your partner? These are the types of things that you run into as you're trying to grow that business to the next level, and they may not be the things you want to share in public with other people. They're the problems and issues that arise that, as I have experienced along my own entrepreneurial journey, that I needed to have someone I could trust to reach out to and have a conversation and get a different perspective. And it was often those short conversations that would be the thing that moved me from where I was to where I needed to be. It's for that reason I created the On-Demand CXO product offering. On-Demand CXO is something that you can use to have a conversation with a trusted advisor about what's going on in your business. We do a 1-hour phone call to talk about your business, talk about your objectives, and understand what it's going to take to move you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. From there, you have ongoing access to a Slack channel to ask me questions in private about what's going on in your business, so that I can provide some advice or connections to my network to individuals who can help you solve against that problem. You will also have access to my Facebook page, which is full of other entrepreneurs who are along the same journey, to have more broad conversations, things that you trust and would talk about in a networking event. But when you need to go and have that conversation with a trusted advisor, you will have the ability to have a conversation with me in a place that's safe, completely anonymous, and unbiased. I want to see you succeed and build your very best business.
And we're back. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're talking today with James Oliver. He is the founder and CEO of WeMontage, which is a really cool product. Product is a good word. Service too. It allows you to create kind of a montage of photos. So if you have those, and some social media helps you with this, because you may go on Facebook and it'll say, hey, here's all the highlights from your day. You've taken 10 photos and you'd really love to have all of them as a collection. And this feels like it's a great way of putting those together as a collection.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is that Facebook, Instagram, they don't do it to the same extent they used to, but they still compress the resolution of the images. And because we're printing in large format, it makes it a little bit more challenging to use.
Yeah, but you may have them locally, right?
Oh, if you have them on your phone or your laptop, it's all good all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I found. Like I've got a bunch of photos that, we just bought a house recently, and so we're going through, it's got a lot more wall space and things, and thinking about these photos I have that I can see on my phone, and if you can see on social media, but you show up in my house, you've got to be somebody I know really well. That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean you've seen all of my social media photos, right? So it's
I'm not stalking you on social media.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I should be.
When you start printing pictures, right? We used to do a much better job of getting those out and putting them out in your house and those kind of things. So we were talking a little bit about, you found out you had this kind of mommy, grandma market.
Right.
And then you have seen some commercial application.
Yeah. So our best customer, so on my own, and maybe this is a conversation for another time, but I've been able to get my business featured on the Today Show 3 times. Good Morning America, Martha Stewart's blog, Yahoo Tech, HuffPost, DIY Network, Money Magazine did a really wonderful 2-page article, came to my house in Wisconsin, shot a beautiful video, and I was on CNBC's version of Shark Tank.
That's just a little bit of earned media.
Right, but I did that all on my own. So, I mean, that's
just a little bit.
A sidebar is entrepreneurs think they can't do that themselves. You can.
So how did you get
So
that?
real quick, so there's 3 tips, I think I would say. One is you need to build your community before you need it.
Okay.
Right? So
that's such an important
tip.
tip.
I mean, like get into Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, wherever.
So many people who don't have jobs show up at the first networking event.
Right. Get it, build your community before you need it. Understand how to send cold emails. Add that to your marketing quiver, right? The cold email arrow needs to be in your marketing quiver.
Right.
Right. And then there are resources that will help you, like justreachout.io is one. There's another one that escapes me, but they will help you figure out who's reachout.io. Right. Okay. You go there, you just type in a subject, and you type in podcasts, and you can a list of all the reporters and people writing about podcasts.
Yeah.
And then from there, they'll help you get their email address.
Well, and you see what's interesting about what you're talking about is that with the right hit, if you come to somebody who has the ability to get you onto a show or into a magazine, whatever, content starved. They're looking for good content.
Exactly.
What the problem is the pitches they get
Terrible.
are terrible.
They complain about it all the time.
Terrible. It's almost every one of them I read, it's the hook is in the fifth sentence.
No, it's right up front, right between the eyes.
And don't send me the whole world.
No,
I want
just
to know
a couple of sentences.
Yeah.
And keep it moving.
Right.
And make
And
sure
then
they
it's, like,
understand what
really
you do.
interesting. Right.
So I got on CNET.com too, and which was crazy about that. So Rick Broider was the guy. He's a blogger on CNET. He wrote an article on his blog about how to pitch him.
Yeah.
So then I pitched him and I was like, hey, I read your article. Like, hope I didn't screw it up.
And if I did, tell me why.
Right. And he emailed me back. He's like, this is awesome. I'm glad to write about this. I'm glad it's not another Bluetooth wireless speaker or whatever he said. Right. So let me circle back because I know we're running out of time here. But so one thing that I made a really big mistake on before was I focused too much on the what.
Yeah.
Right. It's cool technology, removable wallpaper. Nobody cares. Well, not just with respect, yes, with respect to contacting people, but just in general in terms of marketing and positioning the product. Right. It's the why. So I came to understand that people display images because 3 reasons: love, happiness, inspiration. So I'm like, okay, well, why do you love your WeMontage? These are repeat customers I'm talking to. And they say they get, because of the large, unique format and the beautiful quality and the customization of it, they get more love, happiness, inspiration from their pictures on a WeMontage than they do from traditional picture frames and canvas prints.
Right.
So now back to your question. I apologize, I talk a lot. Businesses. So that first time I got on Today's Show, my very best customer is a bank, credit union in Tampa. They spent $10,000 with us.
Oh, wow.
Right. And they use it because they use it to boost employee morale.
Yeah.
And it's pictures of employees. It's one of the best places to work in Tampa. So they're always celebrating their employees. And when they have turnover, it's sufficiently affordable. They just take it down and put up some new ones.
Right.
And then I have another customer, other customers as well, who use it to display their branding or their product. So even that still falls under the other umbrella in some way of you love, happiness, inspiration, right?
So this is like permanently temporary or temporary.
Yeah, you can leave it up as long as you want.
Yeah.
It won't fade in the sun. Humidity resistant, and you take it down, it doesn't leave any residue on the wall. It's pretty awesome.
Very cool. Very nice. Good job with that.
What?
Thank you. So tell me about the book.
With
No, with what you've done with the product.
Oh, thank you.
And I mean, all that earned media. I know many companies I work with that would give a lot to have gotten that much earned media.
Yeah.
And typically, you can list like 3 of those. However many.
Those 3 tips I gave, those are gold, man.
Yeah.
Those are money.
Yeah.
Tips right there. So the book.
But
the more you hustle,
the luckier you get.
You can be a successful parentpreneur. So
even with twins.
You can try, yes.
Did you say you were the co-owner of twins or the co-CEO?
Co-owner. I'm co-founder of the world's cutest twins, Zoe and Thaddeus.
I think you own them till they're 18.
Right.
After that, you don't any longer.
Right.
You have no control whatsoever.
I have no control now, just to be clear.
Okay. So tell me about the book.
So the book is when I started the business a year or so after, I started a blog, and I did that with the intention of using the content from the blog to inspire a book. And so my work is entrepreneurship, but my purpose in life, I'm clearer now than ever before, is to inspire people who are parents and entrepreneurs or parentpreneurs. Because, man, let's face it, like being an entrepreneur is hard. 80% of new businesses fail or whatever that stat is, right? From Bloomberg.
Well, and what you did is you really had triplets because you had twins at the same time and started
like
a
that.
business.
Who does that? That's crazy, right? I drink a lot, right? So new businesses fail, and then if you're a parent, like being a parent is rewarding, but it's hard, man. Yeah. And if you like parent and entrepreneur, parentpreneur, that's like next level crazy,
right?
And most of my friends who are parentpreneurs, they're just like slogging it out. They don't have a lot of people they can talk to because they can't relate. And I'm just like, listen, if you're a parentpreneur, like I see you, I feel you because I'm one, and I got you. And that book is just chock full of really short paragraphs of just pure inspiration, stories, notes from the road. This is like notes from the grind.
Yeah.
The stories of my journey of launching a business, having prematurely born twins, raising capital, running out of cash, everybody quitting, raising more money, still grinding, moving around. I mean, it's just what to do, don't do this. do that, some family parenting stuff. How do I maintain my sanity and raise my kids? Some of that sprinkled in there, but mostly it's about the grind of raising kids and being a parent. And I had one person respond to me and say that it's like a group therapy session for entrepreneurs and parentpreneurs, which I thought was cool. And honestly, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. People are loving it. They're like, man, I finished this thing in 2 days. I couldn't put it down. It's an easy read. It's only 83 pages. There's no navel gazing. It's no nonsense.
It is cathartic to do these kind of things. So, and if it's not this for you, if you're an entrepreneur, you're doing something, finding some way of getting that out, right?
Yeah.
Like when I sold my business in 2012, my book was primarily about had the business for 11 years. And that book is primarily about my experience in that business. And it almost was a way for me to get it all out, right? To put it all out on paper. And now as I work on the others, there are other things that it's a way to
it's a catharsis. You said it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of times when I was writing something, it's because I woke up in the morning or in the middle of the night, just like something burning in me to get out, to get off my chest, or to share.
Yeah.
Or to say, hey, do this, or don't do that, because I made this really stupid mistake. Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And, some funny stories in there, I think.
So you've had twins, started a business.
Yes, sir.
Written a book.
Yes, sir.
What's next? What do you want to do next?
Well, so the book just published, and my intention is to turn this book into a bestseller.
Okay.
Even I self-publish it, so I have no idea how that's going to happen yet, but that's my vision. Just like my vision for the business is to get acquired for $50 million.
Yeah, that's
my vision. I have no idea how I'm going to get there yet, but now that I'm in Atlanta, I think I have an opportunity to make it happen with the right partnerships and distribution opportunities, a bit more of a focus on B2B. And I'm working on a couple partnerships now. I can't really talk about because they're not done, but because like, for example, in the college dorms, 95% of students who go away to college, they have varying degrees of homesickness. And my theory is that if you surround them with the familiar and comforting images of family, friends, loved ones, it will ease their anxiety. Now they can just focus on being students and having fun, which is what college is all about.
Well, and they're also in temporary spaces where they can.
Right. You can't put nails in the dorm room walls.
Right.
So the product is perfect for that. I mean, last summer we got on the Today Show as part of a Back to College segment. And that was like great for our sales for back to school. But really, what I need is a partner that has access to this, not just the students, but the parents, because my experience has been the parents are the ones that would either buy the kids a gift card or make it for them themselves. But if you leave it up to the kids, they're like, I ain't gonna do it. But
well,
when
they
get it, they
when
love
you
it.
have a kid off at college like I do, you have like the weekly, supposed to be weekly.
Right.
Sometimes
supposed
it's
to be.
yeah.
Allegedly.
So weekly phone call. And if she mentions anything, I'm out of coffee.
Right.
Guess what shows up at her doorstep the very next day?
Coffee gift card.
So yeah, it is the parent or
It
the
is the
coffee. I send the coffee.
Oh wow, you're
I go to
gangster.
the Amazon Prime and I like it's going to show up.
Coffee
There's no
gangster too.
excuse, right? But yeah, you're right. I mean, you've sort of figured out that it's
Right.
that kind of.
It's the parent.
It's the parent.
Right.
It's the parent. It's the
Right.
mom. It's the whatever. Right.
So I'm looking for partnerships. I'm actually working on a potential sponsorship with a wireless company, which I think it'll be great for them if they want to do it, but can't talk about it because it's not done yet. So
Yeah. Well, very good. And so do you have other books in mind? Or?
No, I just wrote that one. People are like, oh, you should write a book about having twins. I'm like, can you buy the book I just wrote before you start telling me what I should write next?
That's hilarious. So tell me about, so you say how long have you been in Atlanta?
3-4 months.
Okay. And so what are you thinking of the ecosystem?
Oh my God. It's like wonderful.
Is it?
It's great.
How are you plugging in?
Okay. So when I first got here, I did a contributing article for Hypotamus about being a dadpreneur, parentpreneur.
Okay.
That was around Father's Day.
So you went back to the roots of some of the stuff you did with WeMontage. Like, who should I be telling my story?
It was an excerpt from the book.
Yeah.
Essentially. So there's that. And then what else have I done? I did the interview, I think I mentioned, with Cutest Presley on WSB and a couple other stations on her show Perspectives to talk about the book. I just did Atlanta Tech Edge with Kara Kinnear on Sunday. I'm doing a consumer product show with Switchyards.
Switchyards, yes.
Yeah. That's in a couple weeks. I'm super pumped about that.
Awesome.
So, and then I've plugged in with the guys from Black Atlanta Tech family. There's a bunch of guys like Joey Womack from, you don't know if you know Joey Womack, from Goody Nation.
Oh, Joey Womack. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey from Goody Nation. They're doing just trying to bring all the fragmented resources and Black folks in tech together to try to raise up the profile and, not just here locally, but nationally to get some respect. So I've connected with those guys and, started a Facebook group with Joey. Well, Joey started. I just like, hey, start a Facebook group. So he did it. So I'm just.
It sounds like you got a little PR in your background too. Like you might be a little bit of a PR person.
You know,
if you've gotten all this on your own.
I can only do it for myself, though. I can tell you how to do it, but if you want me to do it for you, I don't have the passion for your stuff. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
You know, I got passion for my stuff.
Good point. Well, welcome back to the Atlanta community.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me on the show. I really appreciate that.
So you've been listening to Build Your Best Business. I've been talking with James Oliver. He's the founder and CEO of WeMontage. He also is the author of the book, The More You Hustle, The Luckier You Get. So true. So true. The more you hustle, the luckier you get. It's all about the hustle. So make sure you can get it.
Oh yeah, man, you can get it. TheMoreYouHustle.com is the website, or you can get it on Amazon, on paperback, on Amazon, or Kindle.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you've been listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Now, what are you going to do to build your best business?